Tim Hegg, in my opinion, also brings out the proper meaning of the phrase law of Christ in his commentary to the book of Galatians. Let's read this lengthy quote from Tim Hegg. He goes on to say that Yeshua's emphasis was upon living out a Torah in which genuine love for God and love for one's neighbor, right? Notice the dynamic between our individual and personal relationship with God and our corporate relationship with one another. It's that horizontal and the vertical relationship that I described a few weeks back that forms a convenient cross, right? The line that goes from earth to heaven and the line that goes side to side, left to right, from top to bottom and from left to right. That's our responsibility as followers after God. Both of those relationships are important. Relationship with God and relationship with one another. And that's what Yeshua emphasized. This was the driving factor in halakhic decisions. And this accords with what Paul just said in Galatians chapter 6 about bearing one another's burdens, fulfilling the law of Christ. Galatians chapter 5 verse 14, fulfilling the law by loving one another, right? Loving your neighbor as yourself. So let's keep reading and finish this up tonight. While the sages, Tim Hegg says, were expert at piling burdens upon men's shoulders without lifting a finger to help them bear the load, right? Recall Matthew 23:4. Yeshua sought to actually unwrap the Torah from the entanglements of men and to show that living a life of Torah by faith is not a burden but a delight. This is something that we Messianics try time and time again to explain to our Christian friends and counterparts who don't espouse to following after the Hebraic lifestyle. We try to explain to them that we don't keep the Torah to become saved, we keep the Torah because we're saved, and that our keeping the Torah is a delight. It's not a burden, it is a delight. This is what we try to explain to them, that keeping of the Sabbath and kosher and keeping the festivals, all of this is a delight to us. We delight in doing after what God wants us to do because the Torah is written on our hearts. Jeremiah 31 through 34. All right, let's keep reading. So Yeshua brought this delightful Torah to us, and that's the law that Messiah upholds that Tim Hegg's trying to highlight. Hegg goes on to conclude, therefore, by bearing the burdens of one another, like Paul admonishes, the followers of Yeshua actually fulfill the Torah as it was intended to be fulfilled by living it out in the context of love for God. There's the first relationship, the personal one that I highlighted in our liturgy from the Hebrew tonight with the love the Lord thy God, the love the Lord your God, right? That's the first, love the Lord thy God, this context of love for God, and then love for one's neighbor, love the Lord your God, as a community, the personal relationship and the corporate relationship, the personal pronoun, the singular and the plural. That's what I was highlighting with the Hebrew there. So this is the context of Yeshua's law, Yeshua's Torah, is love for God, love for one's neighbor. It's in this way, Tim Hegg says, the Torah as taught and modeled by Yeshua would actually be fulfilled. End quote. And I lifted that from Tim Hegg's study of Galatians, which is available for sale at www.torahresource.com, page 214.